Okay, welcome everyone to our second session of Spotlight on Startups and Entrepreneurship, brought to you by the Cloud Security Alliance UAE chapter. In our first session, we had with us our friends from Folks, and today I'm happy to welcome Amr Atif Eid, CEO and board member of OmniClouds. Welcome, Amr.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me. Greetings to everyone. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. For full disclosure, I know Amr since a very, very long time. He's a good friend of mine. But I would like to give him some tough questions, but we have a set of questions, so he's getting the same questions like everyone else. Amr, I've known you for a while. You have always had a strong standing in the corporate world, but also tipping your toes into startups and entrepreneurships. And now your latest endeavor is OmniClouds. So please introduce yourself and OmniClouds to our community.
Thank you very much, Osama, and thank you for the introduction. I actually just need to clarify one thing also, is the fact that I actually know you since I had hair, and that's quite a remarkable and determinant point in my life, and that was a long time ago. I am a father living in the UAE for almost 20 years right now, an engineer by profession, computer engineering, and moved into telecommunications from a very long time, submarine networks and network designs and so on and so forth. So my previous endeavor was almost providing double-digit percentage of the internet to the Gulf and this part of the world, Middle East. My current endeavor is all about the next wave of providing technology, which is basically technology as a service.
So my latest endeavor is actually OmniClouds. About my career, so I am an engineer by profession and was moved to business a long time ago. I like to take challenges, and I became running businesses for a lot of international telecommunication companies. You can check it on LinkedIn. And I was always found myself in a situation which I call it a turnaround situation, an industry that I have to grow, or a company that I have to restructure and grow again. And it seems, alhamdulillah, I was blessed by being able to transform so many businesses over the past 25, 28 years. That's basically the answer for the first question. I don't want to indulge into saying what OmniCloud does, because that's the most exciting part.
Yeah, that's our second question. If you can share with us more about what OmniCloud does, what are the pain points you're addressing, who are your customers, and what's the unique selling proposition of your offering? Okay,
so before I talk specifically about OmniCloud, I'd like to take us 1 year BC, which is 1 year before COVID, or 2 years BC, which is 2 years before COVID, where a lot of technology firms and a lot of telecommunication providers. When I say telecommunication providers, I mean مشغلي خدمات الاتصالات and the telecom service providers in the countries and globally were starting to struggle, including myself, where I was managing a submarine network, a 26,000 kilometer submarine network. The prices were actually set on the coast, so it was cost plus. So a 10 gig link, and that's very important for the audience to hear, a 10 gig link from Fujairah, which is the junctional hub for cables in this part of the world. And we have 3 junctional hubs, one in Mumbai, one in Fujairah, and one in Egypt and Alexandria, and a 4th one in Djibouti. Those are the junctional hubs where you can always measure A to B. So from Fujairah to Europe, it used to cost, or it used to be sold 8 years ago for around $8 million, $10 million. Fast forward to 2017, 2018, it was actually sold for $200,000. So there is no economy in the world and no company in the world who's, however financial they are strong, they can actually sustain a drop from $10 million to $200,000. That's called innovation disruption or transformational disruption, where the customers are not looking for raw material. Customers are not even looking for internet. Customers are looking for performance on their applications. And that's entirely different ballgame. And when I say applications, I mean their Netflix, I mean their Amazon Prime, I mean their Teams or their Zoom. That's syndrome number one. Syndrome number two comes in a lot of millennials and even the new SME, small and medium enterprise market. They want to use application as a service. One, they don't have enough money to buy as a capital expense their technology, number one. Number two, they don't want to be involved in technology. So a barber wants to be a barber, a doctor wants to focus on his medicine, and so on and so forth. But each one of them is not willing to invest in technology. One, because he doesn't understand it very well. Number two, he feels technology is so volatile and moving every day to a point that there are some people, including myself, who are just excited about gadgets all the time, who changes his phone every 6 months. And I was actually looking for a service that actually can rent you a phone or give it to you on a lease for 6 months, because technology became a service, became something you use, not you own, because you cannot own a so much declining asset. Number three, technology itself became not the end goal, but became a tool. And you cannot invest in a tool, you invest in the end goal. Number four, which was the thing that changed everything, in every human history, pandemics or planet crisis or situations always is there to change fundamentally the behavior of people, humans in general. Those four things was very clear that people are shifting entirely from owning houses to renting houses, from buying cars to leasing cars, from buying technology to leasing technology, from just buying things to use it to actually lease it or services, which what we call right now the sharing economy.
Correct.
Now what I called, and I don't remember reading it anywhere, the pandemic, even for us here in the UAE, and life and the country has been very kind to us. It was not severe as we have seen so many other countries, but yet it was a humbling experience, what I call a humbling experience to us as humans, to understand that most of our dreams and hopes, future plans and summer vacations and all those crazy things we used to do could actually just stop in a minute. So that humbling experience taught us that maybe it's good that we focus on what we need to have, not what we want to have. So if you remember all, we had days where we cannot go to supermarket, but then other countries, they had days where they can only go and take rationed food. And that is a humbling experience. So all those combined together give us a very clear indication from also what we hear from the customers, that we need to lease the services, try to use as much as we can services that is linked to our usage, not invest and then use, no, use and then see what we will do. That said, the word as a service, XaaS, what we call it, became very prominent in the field of technology, where people want to have a switch and a router and a firewall and a security monitoring and a network monitoring, but they want to have it all as a service. They want to have the best firewall in the world, because right now even my 12 years old know what a firewall is because he is always online, but he does not have enough money to pay $2,000. And I don't think his father is going to give him $2,000. But nobody minds paying $50 per month to get the same type of firewall, but for a small bandwidth as a service, number one. I don't need to have a switch or router. Actually, me as a bank, I want to have it as a service. If you can ensure me that this is secure and inside the country, I can actually use it as a service. So we started looking at every part of the technology to help and make the technology as a service. And we actually call it platform to transform, as you can see it here in the back. So it's actually platform as a service. The other point that we've discovered is that actually, in terms of security operation center and NOC, people just want to get an expert to help him look at his network. If he's approved by the government and if he's inside town, I don't trust myself seeing it. So that is the second point. those two points combined with the lack of cash in the economy across Middle East and Africa, where we operate, it was very clear that people want the technology, and they have it right now, because remember, we all sat at home. Even going to the bank was a challenge. So now all the services are accessed through the internet. So sorry for being long, that's the third one. The fourth one is we have an interesting three sub-problems. Problem number one, we have countries in Middle East and Africa, or EMEA in general, that has very expensive internet. We have countries that has very poor internet. And we have third type of countries that has poor and expensive internet. Those are the four challenges we're trying to solve. Platform as a service, security as a service, technology as a service, and make the access to your application services in a private cloud or public cloud affordable using current technologies. So our technologies right now allows you to have a 500 meg or 1 gig at home using a conventional ADSL and a conventional SIM card. And pretty soon, within the next few days, you will find one of the amazing operators we have in the country actually co-offering it to the market, where at home you can have two operators at the same time, or one operator who's two links at the same time that can give you 1 gig, and you don't need to buy a dedicated line or pay this or pay that. With this, you can actually have secure connectivity to any of your applications. Sorry for the very, very long.
No, that's excellent, Amr. Excellent. But let's try to make it a little more concrete to our audience. Let's say you have, like you mentioned, for example, a bank. So what exactly are you offering a bank or a retail customer or end users, home users?
I'll give you an example of a bank right now in the UAE, one of the most favorable bank to all of us in the UAE, which I can't say the name. That bank, as we speak, is working with one of the operators and us to have all his switches, routers, and firewalls in the bank removed and actually replaced by an edge computing device from us that would give him from 100 to 500 megs in his branch, and a virtualized firewall, okay, and a virtualized router with an express route to the cloud, the local cloud that he has in country. And the core network itself is inside the bank, managed by us, okay? And all is paid as a service on a monthly recurring charge. So imagine the amount of saving. His initial saving is around 30 to 40%. That's the initial saving. On top of that, all the bank employees working from home have an encrypted, local encrypted client that can work from their handhelds or their tablets from home to the bank as if they are sitting in the bank, complete virtual desktop access. I'm not sure if that explains to you. Now going to the ATMs. So the ATM, if we all remember, until today, actually, we go to the mall and we go to the ATM, you can peek, around the ATM left or right, and you can see all those little boxes on top of each other blinking. All that is removed. That's actually an access point. On top of it is a little switch, and on top of it is a firewall, and maybe the previous access points from the previous operator, all right, and maybe the firewall even from the previous operator. They all put together, and all of them are consuming heat and energy, and actually they actually represent actually breaching points. And this is a security event, so this is all physical breach, actually, not even logical breach. All that is removed and put an edge computing device, completely secure, that has multiple SIM cards in it from multiple operators, so it can never go back. Inside it, it's virtualized, the best firewall, the best router, the best switch, with a variable access of data, okay, that can even make the camera and the device work, and it's all encrypted, and all goes to the bank. One device only. Even if you try to move the ATM, the device is geotagged with a SIM card. So all that, you actually pay literally a few $100s a month for all that.
Wow. Okay, you explained a lot that has to do with connectivity, but let's look, for example, you have a customer who says, we want to move to the cloud, to Microsoft Azure, Amazon, or something like that. How are you helping them or enabling this transformation?
So we help them actually by asking a simple question: why do you want to move to the cloud? You see, I don't go to the gym. All right. So when I every time I tell people, I want to change my life, and one gentleman asked me, why do you want to go to the gym? So that's the basic question. So we act like a cloud company. Why do you want to go to cloud? Because I want to save the cost on this thing, on that thing, and so forth. I have, let's say, Oracle or Microsoft, one of the big guys. We just did it with one of the construction companies, and they had so many servers, so many licenses, and he said, I want to move to the cloud, and I'm going to Oracle Cloud, for example. So we showed him that he can transform his licenses to cloud-based licenses, and he does not really need to go to Oracle Cloud because it's not inside the country, and it will not be legal if he's a bank or a hospital or so on. We can actually put Oracle database on top of one of the local clouds here in the UAE, and it could be actually part of private cloud and local cloud, because we virtualize the network and we manage the application, and we manage actually the microservices of the application as part of our network, part of our IP. And at the same time, we also actually manage, what we do is application-based routing. I'm sorry, I'm going a little bit technical, which means I can tell the network, for those people in this building, they can do WhatsApp, but they cannot send videos on WhatsApp. It's very important in call centers for security. They can actually access Facebook, but they can't comment on Facebook. It's not allowed. So they will have access to Facebook. And that policy could be propagated in seconds, number one. Number two, if I may allow, I'll just give all the names of security vendors: Palo Alto, SonicWall, any of them. We come with our own next generation firewall, and the customer has a preference for Palo Alto. It's a company that has a standard. We have Palo Alto core engine that actually will virtualize it to the customer. So we tell him, here is your servers at site. This is what you can virtualize of those servers as a machines. And this is where you can save the data. You can go to Azure, or much better for you, maybe you go to Etisalat or Do. We'll give you all those different offers because we have all of them. And we don't actually count it in our revenues. We do it on behalf of the customer. And we actually charge a cost plus, just to be completely transparent on that. And we then, because our network can manage the streams of applications, we actually optimize it for him. So he almost feels it's his own local network. That is the way we do. And after that, we give him access to a portal where he can see all these performances at the same time, and we provide that for an SLA, even with an SLA. I'm not sure if that actually explains to you or not how we do it.
No, that makes sense to me. And I think our community gets it also.
Yeah, and what we do, Osama, even when we talk to the CFOs and the CEOs, the teams actually work with the local operator, and they actually provide them what we call a TCO analysis. Because we always have to measure, why are we doing this for? I always ask people this dumb question: why? Why do you want to go to the gym? Why do you want to go to the cloud? Or is just you want to go to the cloud because you want to go to the cloud?
Because everyone else is doing it.
Because everybody else, that's called the herds. We're all going to the cloud. Sometimes you're a bank, we have one of the large online retailers where we're managing their contact centers. So we managed to send the agents home by giving them one small device that manages the application itself and secures the application, provides noise canceling and background canceling. Now we created more jobs. You don't need, for example, to move from Abu Dhabi to Dubai. You just can work from home, for example. So we tell him, do you have a contact center? He said, yeah, we paid like $18 million. We said, yeah, but you can have contact center agents on the cloud. There are so many contact center agents, applications actually as a service. So why don't you take it as a service? We do a TCO for them, and we tell them it's an SLA based. So you're not investing. It's an SLA based. You're actually investing the first 1 or 2 months. Your biggest investment is the time you spend to rationalize this and go forward. That is basically, so what we call it the cloud companion. When you check our website, it's actually called cloud companion. And because we're enthusiastic about what we do, we actually spend time with the customers to tell them.
Okay, we'll make sure we'll add a few links when we post this. I think, yeah, this was very comprehensive. One question we have is, how can the community help you, or what would you like to see change in what's happening around your offering, or maybe what direction do you see the market is taking?
Thank you. So first of all, let me tell you that OmniCloud right now is 12 subsidiaries. We are around 2 years and a half old. So we're right now joining the, hopefully, inshallah, the unicorn line of UAE. It seems the UAE right now became the most notorious, and you want to be a unicorn, come to UAE, you will be a unicorn. So there will Kareem and Swivel and God knows. So in those 12 entities, and 3 of them, actually in 4 of them, we've managed to transform the education sector. So in one country, we have 5,000 schools and 4,000 students, 4 million students, where we managed to decrease the cost of school technology 80%.
Wow.
So if it was $1,000, we made it $200. In some other country, there was not any technology anyhow, papers. So we took a 3 years nationwide transformation agreement to do that. In UAE, we're working with the government actually to help schools have proper technology, proper access to technology. And here I'm not talking about telco, proper access. So we have access to millions and millions of education contents. We actually provide even interactive screens for the schools as a service. And we provide them with a lot of applications for this. We even provide what we call it OmniSpace, which is a class. It's not made for UAE because UAE is an advanced country, but we made it for Africa. And even UAE is working with us for Africa, where we provide a smart class that has solar cell that provides energy. Inside the class, there is an interactive screens and cameras that can measure temperature, and the teacher can talk to students even 100 kilometers away. And it has hydro, where they can drink 7 to 8 liters of water, and 35 students. And at evening, it actually works like a clinic. What is it that we're trying to do? I always believed there is 2 kinds of companies: value-based organizations and objective-based organizations. With the value, you always end up into a lot of success and a lot of good value that you present to the society. And at the same time, you actually make money, because money comes after all that, just comes as a result. What I really want from the community is to try those services and explore it. We always get a lot of resistance. We get it because people have job security issues. You always go to IT manager, for example, and so on and so they are worried because you just replaced all the routers and CPEs and everything with something as a service. What we really need to look at as humans is, let us try to invest in the things that needs investments. If you are a hospital, just invest in the equipment that you need for patients and the software for patients. Don't invest into buying so much hardware. If you are a bank, invest in giving us a better service or reduce the cost of interest a little bit. Again, it's not spending all this money, and so on and so forth. I can see it a lot happening in the UAE. The education sector is amazing. There is a lot of enhancements happening and a lot of cloud services. I think the pandemic, inshallah, it will go, but the habits that give us will stay, which means we will work more remotely, we will learn more remotely, and we are proud actually to say that we're unleashing extra access to contents in a lot of places that actually makes it more secure. What do I mean by more secure? Because we look at the application running on the network. So I feel more comfortable when my son is playing games or surfing the internet, and here is not about firewall. It's about misbehaving. We can sense the misbehaving applications. So I feel more comfortable. When I have cameras at home, I'm not too worried because it's behind the next generation firewall that I have at home. So at home, I have a next generation firewall. I couldn't afford to have it. I think you two, maybe we're gadget freaks, but the normal people will never have a UTM or next generation firewall. Now I can provide it to you for almost 300-400 dirhams a month. So I don't know if that answered your question. Actually.
No, it
so
makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense to me. Thank you, Amr. This gets us to our last question. Can you share some advice with aspiring entrepreneurs?
Well, I think most of the entrepreneurs said it. First of all, you should have the right intention, I think, because you need to have the right intentions, and you need really to solve a real problem. The real problem that I try to solve is we need to have more access to technologies, and we need to consumerize access to enterprise technologies. What do I mean by this? Because in the old days, we used to see people in spy movies in the 60s holding something in their hand and talking. And we thought, oh, come on, that's not going to be there. And today, we have even every kid some of them have 2 phones, which means it's completely consumerized, commoditized. We also need to see the same thing in firewalls, because we need to see access to AI. all our data is online. I used to feel comfortable by having 4 hard disks and 3 SSDs where I save all my data. Now I feel more comfortable at Dropbox. Yeah, but I have a problem. I have around 0.7 tera on Dropbox. If I delete it and I want to install it again or upload it to the cloud, in the normal circumstance, it might take days. With us, it will take a couple of hours. So you have to solve a real problem. That's what you need to have. And remember that at the time you actually almost about to give up, you might be 2 inches away from actually sunlight. So keep trying, keep pushing. That's what I keep saying. And be in the UAE, most probably you'll become a unicorn. That's what I can say. That's not a PR for the country. That's reality right now. So that's what I need to tell people. Tawakkal Allah and just keep pushing. Keep pushing. We have, for example, around right now 70 people or 80 people in 21 nationalities. I don't think we can have that in any other country right now as we speak. We have offices around the world. We are in Dubai Internet City. And all those nationalities, I wouldn't be able to hire them if we're not in the UAE. And we love to have a lot of nationalities. Most of them are young, not like me, and they have hair. But and that's what I tell people: keep pushing, don't stop.
Thank you, Amr. That's great advice. Thank you for this valuable session. And when we post it, we will add some links, and then you can also engage with the community if they have any questions regarding your offering. Pleasure having you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Ma salama.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.